Hello friends, this is the lecture on the immunomodulator, the part 1. These are the learning objectives. The first is a basic understanding of about the immunity, what is immunity, role of immunity and type of immunity. Then there is a definition of immunomodulator which includes the two terms immunosuppressant and immunostimulant. Detail about the immunosuppression, that is the mechanism of action, classification of various drugs and the individual drug discussion. And finally the therapeutic role of immunosuppressant in the organ transplantation. The second part is the immunostimulant. So before understanding the immunomodulator, let's understand the basic about the immunity and its role. So what is immunity? Immunity is a biological defense mechanism within the human body's own system that protect against the infection or invasion by the microorganism. So it prevents the development of infection, prevent the development of a disease or the fight with the disease. And the another important one that during the cell cycle, if there is a disruption and development of abnormal tumor cells or the abnormal cell, the immune system will do the recognition of the such cells and the removal of damaged cells, abnormal cells or the dead cells. That is an important task. If it is remain unchecked, then there is a chances of a development of a tumor and thereby the cancer. The most important one, that immune system discriminate between the self and non-body self cells. So that is when important. When person get transplanted any of the organ, this organ likely to be attacked by the immune system because immune system will recognize as a non-self cell. So at this time, during the organ transplantation, we want to avoid such a immune mediated rejection reaction. In that cases, there is a requirement of a suppression of immunity. Second one is immune having a self tolerance. Self tolerance means it identifies body's own cell. It must not attack the body's own cell. But in certain circumstances, the immune system will fail to identify the body's own cells and considering it as an antigen and attack on that, and it causes the damage to the either organ or a system. That is known as a autoimmune disease. So here at the two condition where the immunity need to be suppressed or to be checked with the help of drug. Brief about the type of immunity. There is a two type of immunity: innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity, that is a person born with the immune components, that is the organ, tissue and cells and the skin. While acquired, that is the developed later on in the life. It can be active, it can be a passive. It can be active where the antibodies either developed by the infection naturally or there is artificially in response to vaccination. So after infection, whatever the immunity is developed, that is known as active immunity. In case of a passive immunity, where the ready-made antibody, that is patient either derived by the in the form of a drug or they get transferred from the mother's placenta. So the natural is that is transferred from the mother and artificial is received in the form of a medicine. So these are the basic type of immunity. Now the something detail about the cellular level to understand the immune system, that acquired and innate. Again we discussed that innate is just available within body system after birth, that is the natural protective barrier, protective secretion. Then the blood-borne, that is the performance of the white blood cells, and we were focused on the acquired immunity. Again, the acquired immunity is two components: cell mediated immunity and the humoral immunity. The cell mediated immunity, where the wall T cells component participates into the development of immunity, where the three type of T cells are there: suppressor T cell, helper T cell and cytotoxic T cells. They bring about the death of body cells via infected virus and the other damaged cell. Then the B cell immunity, that is a humoral immunity. After the antigen exposure, there is a lymphoblast generation, and these lymphoblasts turn out into the two kind of a cells, that is a plasma cell which produces the antibody. This antibody via complement cascade causes the cell death. While in case of a clonal beta cells, this clonal beta cell will retain the memory of this antigen, and in the future, for the prevention of the future infection with the same antigen, it generates the memory B cell. So here in this wall picture, the majority of immunomodulators are focusing on the acquired immunity components. In the acquired immunity, again the more focus on the T cell mediated immunity. So this slide is basically meant to understand about the molecular aspect of immune system. So the question is, immune system is good for the human body, then why does it need to suppress? So in the two conditions where the foreign organ is identified by the immune system as a non-self and it produces an exaggerated immune response, that is problematic in case of a organ transplantation, which results into the graft rejection. So body failed to accept the organ from the other human body. So to prevent that graft rejection, or to prevent this exaggerated immune response after the organ transplantation, this immune response need to be suppressed. Second thing, when the immune system failed to identify the own body cells and it attacked onto the organ or the system, that will give rise to the disease that is known as autoimmune disease. Examples of the autoimmune disease are the thyroiditis, myasthenia gravis, glomerulonephritis, and rheumatoid arthritis. So here the root of a disease is exaggerated immune complexes triggered by the own body cells. So immune response is need to be suppressed to suppresses this disease. So in these two cases, after organ transplantation, in case of autoimmune disease, the exaggerated immune response need to be suppressed. So immunomodulator having a therapeutic potential in these two diseases specially. So immunomodulator, that means it modulates the immune system either at the lower side or there is a upper side. That means either it suppresses the immune system or it stimulates the immune system. So in either cases, suppression or the stimulation of the immune system is known as a immunomodulator. It can modulate any of the components of the immune system, including both innate as well as adaptive arms of the immune system. It starts with the first part, that is the immunosuppression drugs. Almost all the immunosuppression targets to suppresses the cell-mediated immunity. So before understanding the mechanism of action of an immunosuppressant, let's understand the sequence of T cell cascades that happened in the cell-mediated immunity. So antigen on exposed to the antigen presenting cells. These antigen presenting cells are the dendritic cells, macrophage, or any immune component cells. They identify the antigens and taken up the antigen insides and a few peptides presented along with the major histocompatibility complex on their surface. This major histocompatibility complex is a presentation of antigen to the helper T cell. The CD4 molecule associated with the helper T cell anchor this MHC complex too. So it is able to activate this helper T cell. So this is the first presentation of antigen to the helper T cell and helper T cell activation. This is known as a helper T cell activation. Further, this activated helper T cells starts the transcription of genes that causes the release of various cytokines. These cytokines will causes the activation of other helper T cells through the interleukins, TNF alpha cytokines. It causes the macrophage to promote the phagocytosis. Some of the helper T cell will causes in turn the B cell activation and the conversion into the plasma cell and antibody formation. Some of the cytokine causes the activation of cytotoxic T cells and ultimately the killing of antigen. So phagocytosis, antigen antibody interaction and the cytotoxic effects of overall the T cell will result into the killing of antigen. So these are the steps in the cell mediated immunity. So in previous cell you have seen that how antigen will causes the activation of a T cell. So now they see the molecular cascades that how T cell is activated, proliferated, differentiated and causes the release of cytokine. So after the presentation of a MHC complex that anchors to the CD4 and T cell activation, the first step inside the naive TD cell is the helper T cell is that stimulation of a phospholipase C. So stimulation of the phospholipase C is hydrolysis the phosphatidyl ionocetyl biphosphate compounds degrade into the diacylglycerols and ionocetyl triphosphate. This ionocetyl triphosphate causes the release of intracellular calcium. This calcium, so availability of intracellular calcium is the second step. This is the end product of the phospholipase C breakdown. Now this calcium bind with the calmodulin protein. This calcium calmodulin combination requires the another protein that is known as a calcineurin. This calcineurin calcium calmodulin complex, this trio complex will further, that is known as a calcineurin pathway. This trio further in the help of a protein that is the immunophilin binding protein, that is FK by BP, that is a immunophilin binding protein. With the help of this protein, it causes the it causes the dephosphorylation of a regulatory protein that is known as a nuclear factor of activated T cells. So it is in the phosphorylated state, but this calcineurin pathway will causes the dephosphorylation. See, the phosphate molecule is removed and there is a dephosphorylation stage. In the dephosphorylation stage, it is only able to migrate intranuclearly. After the migration into the nucleus, this is the regulatory gene. This is the regulatory protein. After the migration into the nucleus, it will enhances the transcription and translation of a various cytokine gene that will result into the release of a various cytokine, that is interleukin 2 and the TNF alpha. So in the whole cascade, starting from the phosphorylation of the phospholipase, calcium calmodulin calcineurin complex, FKP binding protein, and ultimately the requirement of a dephosphorylated nuclear factors of the activated T cell. So here you can see that the important part here is the conversion of this, that depends upon the calcineurin pathway as well as there is a immunophilin binding protein. So intracellularly this protein is most important, that is the calcineurin. That is the first step of a calcineurin pathway, and second one is there is a immunophilin binding protein. So these are the targets of the various immunosuppression drugs, particularly the drugs which prevent the T cell activation and the release of cytokine, and further there is a inhibit the steps of cell mediated immunity. So after understanding that steps of the T cell mediated immunity, let's see the mechanism of action of immunosuppressant. These immunosuppressants modulate one or more of the following steps in the T cell mediated immunity. The first one is the antigen recognition and the phagocytosis. That is, this action, that step is suppressed by the glucocorticoid. Second is release of a cytokine. After the helper T cell activation, there is a varieties of a molecular mechanism starts, the DNA translation, DNA replication, translation and generation of a cytokine by the various pathways. These are the calcineurin inhibitors, mTOR inhibitors and the glucocorticoids. The third one is antagonizing the cytokines. They are all the monoclonal or polyclonal antibodies. They are known as biological agents. They bind with the cytokine and they antagonize its effect. The fourth one is lymphocyte proliferation and the differentiation. This is the step. The third one, the fourth one is there is a differentiation of a lymphocyte and the proliferation of the T cells. The drugs that targeting on that stage, that is known as anti-proliferative drugs, and the last one is the drug that inhibit the antibody synthesis. Now you can see the actual classification of immunosuppressant. Previously in the slide we have seen the which step it inhibits. Here it is a classification according to its class, that calcineurin inhibitor, that is a cyclosporine, and the tacrolimus, and the mTOR inhibitors, that is a sirolimus, everolimus and tamsulomas. These two groups are associated with inhibition of a T cell activation, while the T cell differentiation and proliferation, that is the known as an anti-proliferative group, they are the majority anti-cancers immunosuppressant, that is azathioprine, methotrexate, cyclophosphamide, chlorambucil and mycophenolate mofetil. The most important potent different immunosuppression that have action on more than one stage, that is the glucocorticoid, and the fifth one is cytokine antagonist, that is the biological agents. These biological agents are particularly targeted to the individual cytokine, that is the TNF alpha inhibitor, that is etanercept and infliximab and adalimumab. Then interleukin 1 receptor antagonist, that is anakinra, interleukin 2 receptor antagonist, that is basiliximab and the daclizumab, and the anti-CD3 antibody, that is the muromanab CD3, and the polyclonal antibodies, that is the N3 thymocyte antibody and the D immune globulin. So this is about the classification of immunosuppression drugs. So we are going to discuss the first group, that is the calcineurin inhibitors. The cyclosporine and the tacrolimus, two drugs are the calcineurin inhibitor. As have you seen that calcineurin is the protein kinase that bind with the calcium calcineurin, ultimately causes the dephosphorylation of the regulatory protein, that is a nuclear factor of activated T cells, and these nuclear factors after entering into the nuclei, that causes the transcription of the various cytokine genes. So by binding this calcineurin protein, there is production of an interleukin as well as TNF alpha will be. So the first drugs, that is a cyclosporine, the source is a natural, it is obtained from the fungus species, it is a cyclic polypeptide. After entering into the target cell, it binds to the cyclophilin protein, and this cyclophilin protein complex that causes the inactivation of a calcineurin. So calcineurin, calcium, calmodulin and calcineurin complex is inactivated. So there is no conversion, dephosphorylation of a nuclear factor of activated T cells, and finally no cytokine gene transcription and release of a cytokine. So it selectively inhibits the T lymphocyte proliferation, T lymphocyte activation, IL-2 generation or other cytokine production, and it inhibits the response of a T cell to the inducers induced by the IL-1 but not if affect to the suppressor T cell. Cyclosporin can be given orally or intravenously. The plasma half-life is about the 24 hours. So, cyclosporin suppresses the cell-mediated immunities. It leaves the recipient with the enough immunity to control the bacterial infection. So, even though the T cell mediated immunities are suppressed, but still they can come back to fight with the bacterial infection. It don't affect to the humoral immunity at all, and it is free of the toxic effects on the bone marrow as well as reticular endothelial system, that is also part of the immune system. So that is the good part of about the cyclosporine. Adverse drug reaction, it is a highly nephrotoxic. So major limitation of these drugs is nephrotoxicity, particularly in the renal transplant patient. It produces hypokalemia as well as hyperuricemia. So watch for the other drugs that causes the hypokalemia too. Then liver damage, then sustained rise in the blood pressure, precipitation of a sugar and diabetes, hirsutism and gum hypoplasia, endocrinal disturbance, and the CNS side effects, that is a tremor as well as seizure. Therapeutic uses of a cyclosporine. The cyclosporine, as said, that all immunosuppressants are used for the organ transplantation and the autoimmune disease. Now in case of a organ transplantation, where it plays the role, first line, second line, immediate control, delayed reaction, or what? For the prevention of a graft rejection. So it can be used to prophylactic in all the transplant, kidney, liver, heart, bone marrow. It should be started 12 hours before the transplantation and as continue as needed. But therapeutic monitoring of a drug is required because these drugs are neurotherapeutic index, and adverse drug reaction includes the cardiovascular, central nervous system, liver damage, kidney damage. So it is always advisable that optimum plasma concentration and maximum therapeutic effect with minimum side effects, therapeutic drug monitoring is recommended. Autoimmune disease, it is the second choice of a drugs. The first choice of a drugs is the methotrexate. The autoimmune disease are bronchial asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, psoriasis, where the methotrexate is first preferred. It is an alternative or second choice. It can be used with the corticosteroids. Now these drugs are metabolized by the cyclosporin is metabolized by the CYP3A4. So the enzyme inducer as well as enzyme inhibitors of the CYP3A4 affix to the drug level. So phenytoin, phenobarbital, rifampicin are the inducer that lowers the plasma levels. So effective plasma level is not maintained. Chances of a graft rejection is there. If in case of an enzyme inhibitor is there concomitantly administered, then there is a increases the level of drug, and that will leads to the toxicity. Erythromycin, ketoconazole, they are all associated with the enzyme inhibition. Other nephrotoxic drugs, same set of adverse effect profile, they enhances the renal toxicity. Same way the hyperkalemia by co-administration of other drug that produces permanent hyperkalemia, that is the majority case potassium sparing diuretic. So watch for this drug-drug interaction. This is the another drugs, that is a tacrolimus, that belongs to the same group, that is a calcineurin inhibitors. It is a newer immunosuppressant. Chemically it is a macrolide and 100 times more potent, but it affects to the same calcineurin pathway and inhibit the helper T cell, but the binding agent is a different. Just like the cyclosporin, it don't bind with the calcineurin, but it bind to the another protein, that is a cytoplasmic immunophilin protein labeled as a FK506 binding protein, that is FKBP. You can see here that cyclosporin bind to the calcineurin. This calcineurin cyclosporin complex will inhibit the further pathway and don't allow the nuclear factor activated for the activation of a T cells. So this pathway will also affected by the protein, that is immunophilin protein, that is FKBP. So tacrolimus by binding this protein also inhibit this pathway further through progress. So ultimately this step will be not followed. So cyclosporin act through this calcineurin pathway, while tacrolimus will follow to the FK binding protein, but ultimately the pathway is inhibited here, and finally there is a no T cell activation is there. The therapeutic profile, toxicity, all are similar to the cyclosporin. Just like the all immunosuppression, the two therapeutic entities there, organ transplantation and autoimmune disease. In the organ transplantation, it is a more potent and very easy to monitor. It is a preferred for the organ transplantation like the liver transplantation. Same way, it is a suitable for the acute rejection. The patient who do not subside the rejection reaction on the cyclosporin, they respond to the tacrolimus. In the autoimmune disease, it is good for the Crohn's disease. It is topically available for the atopic dermatitis too. So, adverse drug reaction profile is also the similar, that is nephrotoxicity, and rest of the ADR are similar to the cyclosporin. So, when considering the cyclosporin and tacrolimus, the mechanism of action is only different. Otherwise, therapeutic uses, adverse drug reaction, all are similar. Now the second group in the classification, that is the mammalian targets of rapamycin inhibitors. In the short form it is a MTOR. The agents are sirolimus, everolimus and the tamsirolimus. So how will affect to the T cell? It binds to the another kinase protein that is known as a mammalian target of rapamycin protein. How this protein will act on the helper T cell? This protein will inhibit the IL-2 mediated proliferation of the T cell. So IL-2, it causes the signaling pathway. This signaling pathway utilizes the kinase as MTOR, and through this pathway it causes the proliferation and the differentiation of a TR. If this is blocked, then there is a proliferation and the differentiation of the T cell is arrested. You can see in the picture that here there is a IL-2 interleukin. There is a cytokine. The cytokine causes the proliferation of the T cells through the MTOR protein. Here you can see that this MTOR protein will causes the cycle to enter from the G1 to G2 stage. So further cell cycling will causes the proliferation as well as the differentiation of these this T cell. So by inhibiting this protein by the sirolimus and the everolimus, it inhibit the proliferation and the differentiation of a T cell. So here you can see that cyclosporin and tacrolimus drugs affects to the first phase of the T lymphocyte activation, while the sirolimus and tacrolimus will affect to the second phase of the lymphocyte clonal proliferation suppression as well as differentiation of a T cell. So this is the second pathway affected by the another drugs, that is the group 2 in the classification. Now the pharmacokinetic, it is extensively metabolized by the CYP, the cytochrome 3A4 enzyme, similar to the cyclosporine. So definitely they will compete for each other. So when it is administered by the cyclosporine will compete for the same isoenzyme and raises the blood level of a sirolimus. Whenever any drugs is extensively metabolized by CYP3A4, the enzyme inducer and enzyme inhibitors definitely affects to the drug level, and we have to be very cautious when the drug is a narrow therapeutic index. Here the typical picture, you can see that enzyme inducer, phenytoin, rifampicin, phenobarbital. This will causes the induction of enzyme, so faster the metabolism of drug is there and reduces the plasma level, so therapeutic failure is there. In case of enzyme inhibition, smoking, erythromycin and ketoconazole inhibit the CYP3A4 enzyme, so inhibit the metabolism and raises the blood level, so chances of a toxicity is there. This picture is a similar for the cyclosporin too, that it is metabolized by CYP3A4. Now the adverse drug reaction, it is a not nephrotoxic drugs. In previous list you can see that in cyclosporine as well as tacrolimus both are nephrotoxic, but mTOR inhibitors are not nephrotoxic, but they suppresses the bone marrow. So thrombocytopenia is the common picture, and that leads to the bleeding tendency, that should be checked for. Other common adverse drug reaction is dose dependent increase into the serum cholesterol and the triglyceride. Other side effects are diarrhea, liver damage, pneumonitis, and it impair the wound healing. But this wound healing impairment is exerting the anti-neoplastic cancers, particularly in the skin cancer. So here it is a therapeutic uses of sirolimus drugs in the another aspect. Now the next is a therapeutic uses of a sirolimus. It is used for the prophylaxis as well as therapy for the graft rejection reaction. It can be used alone or it can be used with the lower dose with the other group of a drug, that is a cyclinurine inhibitors, that is a cyclosporine and tacrolimus, or the anti-proliferative agents, that is a mycophenolate mofetil, or there is a steroid. It is particularly suitable for those patients who develop the renal toxicity with the cyclosporine. They can use another combination with the drugs. Patient is also benefit or very effective in the who are the refractory to the steroids, and it is effective for the stem cell transplant, but it is not recommended for the liver transplantation as it produces liver damage as an adverse drug reaction. Another important aspects about the sirolimus therapeutic uses is the stent is available with the sirolimus coating. Because of a sirolimus coating inside, it impair the platelet aggregation as well as the thrombus formation. So it reduces the incidence of a coronary artery stenosis by inhibiting the endothelial proliferation. So this is about the therapeutic uses of a sirolimus. The next is tamsirolimus. It is a prodrug. It is in the liver converted into active metabolites and made the same fat of the sirolimus. Everolimus is the same as sirolimus but having the good pharmacokinetic, that is better bioavailability on the oral route, and permits a very fast steady state level concentration. Otherwise therapeutic utilization remains the same as to the sirolimus. Now the next third group is anti-proliferative agents. These are the mostly anti-cancer drugs category, but particularly the anti-cancer cytotoxic groups. The cytotoxic cancer chemotherapeutic agents exhibit the prominent immunosuppression property by preventing the clonal expansion of a T and B cell lymphocyte. See, these drugs are taken up by the cancer cell as well as by the immune cells. So selectively the drug taken up by the immune cell will causes the suppression of these T cell and B cell proliferation. So these are in the list of anti-proliferative immunosuppressant. The drugs are azathioprine, methotrexate, cyclophosphamide and mycophenolate mofetil. The first drug in the anti-proliferative drug is azathioprine. Azathioprine belongs to the anti-cancer drugs, but it has a more marked immunosuppression action than the anti-tumor action. Mechanism of action, it is a purine antimetabolite. It is selectively taken up by the immune cells, that is T cells, and inside the cell it is converted into the active metabolite 6-mercaptopurine that will interfere with the purine synthesis, and it inhibits the DNA replication as well as DNA synthesis. So it inhibits the de novo purine synthesis. It selectively affects the differentiation and the function T cell. There is a differentiation as well as function of a T cell. It inhibits the cytolytic T lymphocyte, and thereby there is an inhibition of a cell mediated immunity. So this is about the mechanism of action. You can see that here there is a DNA replication that is not further prevented by the azathioprine and mycophenolate mofetil, and ultimately this cell undergo the apoptosis of the proliferation of the proliferating cells. The use is graft rejection. Its efficacy is lower as compared to the cyclosporine. Cyclosporine is a highly efficacious drug for the prevention of a graft rejection, but limitation of a cyclosporine is a nephrotoxicity. So to reduce the nephrotoxicity in renal and other graft rejection, the dose of a cyclosporine should be reduced. So azathioprine is combined with the lower dose of a cyclosporine in case of a graft rejection. In the autoimmune disease, it is an alternative to the steroids in all the autoimmune disease. It induces for a longer period in the lower doses a remission into the rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease. It restores the near normal pigmentation in the vitiligo patient. So here combination therapy is best. In case of autoimmune, the lower doses for the maintenance therapy is best. Adverse drug reaction, it causes the suppression of a bone marrow. So all the white blood cell, red blood cell series is a suffer that leads to leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, anemia, and thereby there is an increased susceptibility of a infection, damage to the liver, hepatotoxicity, gastrointestinal toxicity, as well as alopecia are the side effects of azathioprine. The second drugs of the anti-proliferative group is methotrexate. Methotrexate is a potent immunosuppressant anti-cancer drugs as well as a strong anti-inflammatory property. The mechanism of action is a folate antagonist. It inhibits the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. It is selectively taken up by the immune cells, that is a T cell, and it interferes with the folate pool, and thereby it interferes with the nucleotide biosynthesis. So depletion of a nucleotide pool and inhibition of a chromosome replication results into the ultimately cytotoxic effect. It markedly decreases the cytokine production as well as decreases the cell-mediated immunity. The methotrexate is the first line of a drugs in almost autoimmune disease like rapidly progressing rheumatoid arthritis, severe psoriasis, pemphigus vulgaris, myasthenia gravis, uveitis, and chronic active hepatitis. In the maintenance therapy is also best in the lower doses, and it is well tolerated. The third drug is a cyclophosphamide. The cyclophosphamide belongs to the alkylating agents. These agents are produced as a reactive intermediate compound and that do the alkylation. This alkylation results into the cross-linking or abnormal base pairing or the scission of a DNA strands. The final outcome is a cytolytic effects. In that way, it causes the cell death. It has a marked effect on the B cell and humoral immunity. Up till now, all the drugs affects to the T cell and they causes the suppression of a T cell mediated immunity. But cyclophosphamide is different in that sense. It has a marked effect on the B cell and the humoral immunity. It is a particularly this drug is reserved for the organ transplantation or the autoimmune disease, but this drug is particularly useful into the bone marrow transplantation. So easy to recall that C is not for the cell mediated immunity, but C is for the B cell suppression and the bone marrow transplantation. The last drugs in the anti-proliferative group is mycophenolate mofetil. It is a prodrug. It is converted into mycophenolic acid, and this will target to the different enzyme, that is the ionosine monophosphate dehydrogenase, ionosite monophosphate, that is IMP, dehydrogenase, that is a DH. So this is an important enzyme involved into the guanine nucleotide synthesis. So it causes interfere with the guanine nucleotide synthesis. So it affects to the nucleotide and thereby the DNA. The T lymphocytes highly depends on the pathway for the cell proliferation. So this selectively inhibit the lymphocyte proliferation and the functions including the antibody formation, cellular adhesion, and the migration. Here you can see that mycophenolate is causes converted into mycophenolic acid, and it inhibits this ionoside monophosphate dehydrogenase. This will convert the ionoside monophosphate to xanthine monophosphate. Xanthine monophosphate is converted into guanoside monophosphate, and it associated with the guanine nucleotide synthesis. So by inhibition of this IMPDH enzyme, that is the action of mycophenolate, it inhibits to the purine nucleoside synthesis. Here same way you can see that the azathioprine function through the 6-mercaptopurine and the different enzyme, while mycophenolate is affects to the IMPDH enzyme, but ultimately the purine synthesis suffers and the DNA replication suffers, and ultimately the cell undergo the apoptosis and the cytolytic effect is exerted. The next group, the third one, is a glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoids are the potent immunosuppression drugs. They have a marked effect on the suppression of a cell-mediated immunity, but little effects on the humoral immunity. It affects to the several components of the immune response. First, it causes the redistribution of a lymphocyte. It inhibits the rolling, adhesion, and activation of a neutrophil or monocyte involved in the immune cascade. So there is a poor chemotaxis exhibited by the neutrophil as well as monocyte. Once the monocyte is activated, it is converted into macrophage. It promotes the apoptosis or the apoptosis of the activated macrophage, monocyte as well as T cell. The macrophage presented to the MHC complex to the T cell, that is inhibited. The activation and the proliferation of a T cell is inhibited. The dendritic cell, that is a co-stimulatory for the cytokine production to the T cell, is inhibited. The expression of several interleukin or other cytokines from the activated T cell at the genetic level is regulated by the glucocorticoid. So glucocorticoid causes the downregulation of interleukin 2, 4, 5, TNF alpha as well as other interleukin. It also causes the inhibition of cytotoxic T cell. So you can see that first step is migration of a monocyte and neutrophil at this immune cascade. So redistribution of a lymphocyte is the first action. Second is apoptosis of already activated cells of the immune component, that is the monocyte, macrophage and activated T cell as well as cytotoxic T cell. The third stage is inhibition of the MHC complex on the macrophage to the T cell. The next is a T cell activation, and the fourth one is there is a decreases the cytokine production by the regulating the gene. So it has a effect on the multi-stage approaches in the immune system. Now the therapeutic uses of corticosteroids. Again, in the organ transplantation and autoimmune disease, in both the condition it can be used in the emergency. It is the most effective, most potent drugs and widely used as a companion drug in combination with the cyclosporine or any other immunosuppression drugs in the various organ transplant. If the graft rejection sets in, then the large dose of IV glucocorticoid is given for the short-term period to combat the emergency. In case of autoimmune disease, again the parenteral steroid is in emergency is required, particularly in the exacerbation condition. On the maintenance therapy, there is a question mark because of a long-term adverse drug reaction. So which are the adverse drug reaction of a corticosteroid? Cushing's habitus, that is the central fat deposition and the skin reaction, hypoglycemia, susceptibility to infection, impaired wound healing, then peptic ulcer, chances of osteoporosis and the cataract development, glaucoma and psychiatric disturbance. You can see here the pictures on the prolonged use of a corticosteroids of high doses, that osteoporosis and myopathy, then endocrinal disturbance, then immunological, it decreases the WBC and the immunosuppression effect that promotes to the opportunistic infection. Then in ophthalmic side effects, in pediatric patient it causes the growth retardation and development issue. In case of geriatric, there are more chances of hypertension, and others are the psychiatric problems. So you can see here the long list of adverse drug reaction. So on a chronic basis, this adverse drug reaction are the major limitation of use of corticosteroids. This is the final brief recap of recap or the recalling of a targets of various immunosuppressant drugs. The first is a calcineurin binding protein, the cyclosporin, that is the calcineurin inhibitor, tacrolimus, that is a immunophilin binding protein, that is a FKBP protein. Both together inhibits the lymphocyte activation. Then second is the mTOR pathway, that is another immunophilin binding protein that also inhibit this nuclear transcription translation. Then as anti-proliferative agents, that is azathioprine and mycophenolate, through the different enzyme they inhibit the purine synthesis. While the steroids, corticosteroids, they have action on the phospholipase 2, then regulatory cytokine regulatory gene suppression, as well as lymphocyte activation, proliferation, inhibit the chemokinesis and all the action. So here the ending of lectures with the first three group discussion. The remaining part, that is the biological agent and the immunostimulation stimulant, that will be discussed in the part 2. See you soon. Thank you. Have a nice day.